Moving on to the next question. Is it appropriate to assign a code for hyperglycemia together with another code for diabetes? For example, if hyperglycemia is documented along with type 2 diabetic retinopathy, should multiple codes be assigned? And in fact, it seems like an odd question because in ICD-9, we're able to report the state of the diabetes, controlled, uncontrolled, with the fifth character. And that is, in fact, oddly enough, despite ICD-10 is a hugely improved classification, diabetes is one of the areas where you're not actually able to, within the context of a distinct code, indicate whether the diabetes is controlled or uncontrolled. Basically saying that this question is speaking to the new structure of diabetes coding in ICD-10. And here the answer is yes, assign two codes, and they give us the ICD-10 codes, one for the type 2 diabetes with the retinopathy and one for type 2 diabetes with hyperglycemia. We believe that this question put forth by Coding Clinic is intended to create awareness in the different kind of structure. This is really one of those educational coding clinics where they by giving it to us in advance of implementing ICD-10, that we're going to be aware of how to report complications of diabetes. And they're basically telling us that multiple codes would be necessary to code a complication of diabetes with an individual who has hyperglycemia. Let's look at the index. There's a kind of a significant point to be made. In the ICD-10 CM index, two references. The term out of control leads you to a code, tells us to code diabetes by type with hyperglycemia. When in ICD-10 poorly controlled, the instructional terms tell us to code diabetes by type with hyperglycemia. There's a change specifically under poorly controlled in comparison to how we do it in ICD-9 now. In ICD-9, the index tells us that poorly controlled, you are instructed to code diabetes by type with a fifth digit for not stated as uncontrolled. And you find a lot of double negatives, not stated as uncontrolled, meaning you code poorly controlled diabetes in ICD-9, as you're doing now, as controlled. So what you're basically seeing there is a departure from 9 to 10 with respect to how to code poorly controlled diabetes, and that's why I'm bringing this to your attention.